Okay, let's do some for instance here. Let's do primer. And then with your primer, if you got a good 2K primer, 2K means it's 2 parts. So it's not just the primer you're just going to put in the gun and then you're going to start spraying it. It comes with a hardener. That's the good primer. That's the primer that you want. Primer and hardener. And then there should be a reducer also. Okay, so these would be your 3 products that you're going to have. And then, so they're going to have a mix ratio for this. And usually with base coat, you have base plus reducer. And then with clear, you have the clear coat. And you have a hardener. And a reducer. Okay, some of the common, let's do the clear. Some of the common mix ratios for clear is 2 parts to 1, and then like reducer would be 10%. Common one would be 2 to 1. And with your base coat, you know, you usually have to reduce it out to get it to spray through your gun. Sometimes you could buy it ready to spray, which they've already mixed in the reducer. But best way to do it is just to buy your base and then buy your reducer with it, because you know, if you got a quart and you're mixing it 2 to 1, then you're going to have actually a quart and a half worth of base coat. And then in some cases, this number can change to where it's actually 1 to 1, in which case after you mix that quart, then you'll actually have 2 quarts of base. So that's just some products, but the most common would be 2 to 1. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do a quick mix here. This is basic mix. We'll act like we're mixing, let's just say clear. So we're going to do 2 to 1 plus 10%. This is our 2 to 1, and then we have our little 10% designation right here. Sometimes if you get different mixing cups, it'll actually say 10% on this side. And you just want to match up the numbers. So you'd be 3, 3 to the 3. In our case right now with this cup, the shaded areas, the 10%. So we'll go the 3 to the 3 plus 10%. Let's mix it up a little bit. Let's just go to the 2, and we'll go to the next 2, and then we'll fill it up on the second 2's 10% line with the reducer. So the first one would be, let's just say, our clear coat. We're going to fill that up. First 2, just using water makes it easier. Okay, so that's on our first 2, and then now we're going to go to the second 2 in the 1 part line. Our next 2 with our hardener, and then we'll go to the 10% line with our reducer. There it is, and then you just mix that up thoroughly. You want to do it for at least a minute, and you're ready to clear. Base coat, even easier. It's just 2 to 1, so you just go to, you know, let's just say for instance the 3, and then the next 3, and then you're done. If it's 1 to 1, I don't think this has a 1 to 1 ratio on it. But that's pretty much 1 part to 1 part. So you can mix to the 5 and then to the 10. You know, that's your 1 to 1. So it'd be 5 and 5. Like I was saying earlier, if it was 2 to 1, then you'd be 2 parts, so that'd be 6, and to 1 part, which would be half of that, so 3. Easy. With reducers, they have a fast, and they have a medium, and a slow. The same with the hardeners. It just depends on what temperatures you have. So if you want to use the fast, then you'd be in a colder area, which would be, like 50 degrees, let's say. The medium, would be 70. And then the slow would be, like 90 degrees plus. This just means it's going to, obviously dry faster. And, that's just going to dry slower. But, when it's so hot outside and you're using fast, your job's not going to come out too good because, as you're spraying, it's drying before it even hits the panel. So it's really important to kind of figure out what temperature you're going to be spraying at. If you have no idea, maybe it's hot and cold and you don't really know where you're going to be, what temperature it's going to be, say that day, you just go with medium. You can't go wrong with medium. If you're in the summer, go with some slow. If you're in the winter, go with fast. But they do have choices for your hardeners and your reducers, and the fast, medium, or slow. And you don't want to have a fast hardener with a slow reducer. You always want your hardener and your reducer to match. They're both going to be fast, they're both going to be medium, or they're both going to be slow. Anytime you start mixing them up, you're going to start messing with your job and it's going to come out looking like crap. So just as long as you know that you got options,